Hey guys, it's Charlie with Wyoming Militaria. I was talking with my uncle earlier, and he likes antique cartridges and such, and it gave me an idea for this week's video. One thing I do want to clear up, I've heard a lot of guys say it, and it's definitely a misinformation kind of thing, so hopefully we'll correct it. I've heard a lot of guys come out and make the statement, uh, I have a rimfire 4570. Two things. Number one, no, you don't. Number two, here's why. Before the Civil War, metallic cartridges were developed. Rimfire cartridges were the big one that were used in the Civil War. People that are gun people generally know there's two types of basic types of cartridges: rimfire and centerfire. Rimfire, from time to time, it was known to have reliability issues with ignition. Anybody that's fired a 22 knows sometimes you put a 22 in, pull the trigger, goes click. Some of you have took the same cartridge, put it in there again, and it went bang. Reason being, and the reason they call it for rimfire, for those of you who don't know, is the priming compound, the fulminate, is put around the rim, and then when it's fired, a firing pin strikes the rim, ignites the compound, which ignites the powder, sends the bullet out the barrel. So I got a rim fire here to show you. This is a 5650 Spencer, made during the Indian War, early Indian Wars. This particular one's made by Sage Ammunition Works, and you can see the rim is crushed. It's been hit. So on the flip side of that, I have the same cartridge except unfired. This one by CD Elite. And you can see this one does not have any primer strike on, or any firing pin strike. This one's unfired. Now, going into the 4570, later on, the Army developed center fire ignition. They took that priming compound that was around the ring and concentrated it in the center for a central firing pin to strike the center. It was a lot more reliable of an ignition system. I have here a 4570 round. One thing I do want to point out, you want to take note of these crimp rings right here at the base. They're not crimp rings up here like you've seen on the Spencer for the bullet. These are at the base. But you look at the base, this particular round made June of 1881. It's a rifle cartridge made at Frankford Arsenal. It does not have what appears to be a primer. However, this particular one, you can kind of see coming through the metal a little discoloration from 140 years of things breaking down. This particular priming system here was called Benet priming. Benet. Some people call it Benet priming. What this is the primer is a cup that they slid down here and then they crimped into place. So it would hit the casing, dimple the casing, and go through and ignite the primer, the center fire primer on the inside. Here, you notice we have the crimp right there. And you also notice we have center fire. I bet that you won't be able to see down in there, but if you could, you would see a little cup that slid down inside there and crimped into place. That was the Benet primer. They continued this up until around the mid to later 1880s. Then they switched over to the external primer as opposed to the internal. This particular one, the bullet's longer because it's a 500 grain later rifle load versus the 405. They made the Benet primer in other cartridges as well. Frankford Arsenal did. They also used it in revolver rounds. This particular one has also been struck. This one highly likely, based on the condition, I would say somebody fairly recently, within the last 50 years, tried to shoot this just to see what would happen, but things, 140 years have deteriorated away. And then we also see these quite frequently in a 50-70. Same story. There's nothing back there. It's because it's all inside. So once again, kind of a side-by-side. This is a rim fire. Notice the crimp rings for the bullet, not the primer. There's no crimp rings back here. This is a rim fire. This one has crimp rings for the primer. This is a center fire. So I hope that clears up some confusion for you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Please like the page. Please follow the page. Subscribe to us if you're watching on YouTube. Remember to check out our items for sale on our Facebook page on the For Sale album. Hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks.